Hey guys, Ningen here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to talk about Jiren, the final boss from the Battlefield or Ultimate Clash, whichever way you want to refer to it as. So it updated this week and the types of all the enemies changed. So Jiren has gone from being AGL to STR. So I just thought I'd do a quick video, not only showing the stage being beaten, but just to go through some tactics to help you guys out. Obviously you want to primarily focus on AGL units, so we're going to talk about the sort of main strategy, because JP, we sort of experienced this on the last Battlefield reset, is when this first Battlefield came out on JP, where Jiren was the boss for the first time. We saw a lot of people online talking about how difficult he was as a boss. And I didn't really make a specific video about him last time because obviously you guys know I have a pretty solid like whale level box. I beat him really easily, wasn't sure what all the fuss was about. And then when I started looking into his abilities a little bit more and sort of how people were trying to counteract him, that's when I sort of came up with this better strategy. So if you just look on the wiki, it doesn't look like he does all that much. Like, he's immune to being stunned and being sealed, but pretty much all of the final fights are here. But the big thing that I think people miss, and this is where he really like can screw you over and take out your team, is when he super attacks you, he massively lowers your defense. So anyone who remembers having issues with the physical Dragon Ball Super Broly Dokkan event when it first came out, that was the main issue with that, is that if he hits you with a super attack and massively lowers your defense, then normal attacks that he hits that same person with are going to be doing ridiculous amounts of damage. And it's actually very easy, if he's got a whole cluster of attacks on one person and the first one is a super attack, it's actually very easy for him to kill you in one turn. Now, you might notice from the different things that you can and can't do here, see, look at this guy here, for Topo, says boss is immune to attack lowering, but Jiren does not have that symbol. So that is the key to making this event easier on yourself, is to lower Jiren's attack. So there's obviously a whole bunch of units that can do that with different abilities. This page on the wiki is pretty useful. You can also filter your box by that, and I'll show you that when we get onto the actual game screen as well. What I normally do, any of you who've been around the channel for a while, you know that this is kind of how I always play Battlefield. I always use mono teams. So what I normally do is I use the extreme ones first and then use the super ones last, because primarily the super teams are normally more powerful. But when you look at this selection here, like Super AGL doesn't really have really good attack lowering units. And obviously one big criticism of Super AGL, obviously everyone talks about how Super AGL is probably one of the best monotypings in terms of sheer power, but they don't have a lot of defense. Like those of you who've been watching Truth's videos on the Extreme Super Battle Road, the Super AGL one is easy enough to do, but when it comes to trying to do a no items run, the team just doesn't have units that are on that sort of level of tankiness. So they're really, really good offensively, but not defensively. So of course, if Jiren hits you with a super, and then a couple of those follow-up attacks, even the most powerful Super AGL team can fall to his that ability. So what I decided to do, I did this on my first run through when it actually reset yesterday, and then I decided to go all the way through it again. Obviously you get rewards for doing it 3 times in total, but I wanted to get it captured on video. I actually used my Super AGL team at the beginning, then I did all extreme, then all super, and now we're finally up to Jiren, and we're going to use an extreme AGL team. So if you have a look here, we have quite a lot of solid units that can lower attack with their super attack. I don't have LR Baby, but he's a really, really good choice. And then obviously on global we don't have the Kid Vegeta and Kid Raditz, but all of these guys lower attack. Some of them are obviously better than others. It depends who you've sort of selected to bring in your Battlefield roster, which is kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to go through this bit first. So obviously there's no point playing all the way through to Jiren and then realizing that you don't have any of the right units. So let's jump over to the actual game screen, and then I will show you guys what team I am bringing. Okay, so here we are at the final stage of level 3, fighting Jiren. See, even on this thing here, let me go back and show you. It doesn't actually show there that he massively lowers your defense. So Obviously that is the key thing that you need to worry about. So this is my extreme AGL selection. It's pretty much the same as it's been for a while, except for adding in the Android 13. And then if you go in to your menu here, you can filter, select effect, lower attack, and then make sure you change it to super attack, and that will show you all your units who lower attack on their super. So Darkness Tower, very good support unit. Metal Cooler, obviously very strong unit all around and can lower attack and transform, which is really useful. And then we have the arms from the Dragon Ball Heroes event, who gives a nice defensive buff. He gives a little bit of an attack support to artificial life forms, which I think the only ones we're bringing are the actual Android 13 and Super 17. I always use Zamasu as my main leader, and then we bring Super 17 as the backup. There aren't any other Realm of Gods for Zamasu's leader skill, but you are essentially running double 120% leads if you do it this way. And then yeah, this is the arms. It gives that defensive buff and key to everybody, which is probably the most important part. Little bit of extra attack for the androids is okay, but I definitely think the defensive build is the best way to go for this fight. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. Now obviously, even regardless of how well you make your team, like it's kind of like Super Battle Road in the sense that when we load in, like you see here, we've got an attack in the first slot before we get to do anything. If that is a super attack, it means the two attacks that follow are going to be extremely powerful. So the quick defense check, 13 has the best defense, so we'll go ahead and put him there. Obviously Metal Cooler we brought for his attack lowering, but if I put him in that first slot and he gets super attacked, then obviously even that little bit of attack lowering, it's not going to fully mitigate the huge amount of defense that he's going to have lost. So unfortunately we can't get a super attack with Zamasu, but that's fine. 13 taking about 15k. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, you can see straight away off the bat, like he hits pretty hard considering 13 has very good defense, and obviously we have type advantage. So fortunately no super attack in the first slot, so Cooler can come in here and hit him with the attack lower. See, my Cooler is Rainbow, so he does a pretty decent amount of damage as well. Although you can see we did nearly 2 million damage, and his bar has not really gone down by a huge amount. And then here comes the super. Fortunately, AGL Zamasu has that built-in damage reduction, but he still took almost 100,000 damage, which is quite a lot, all things considered. So, fortunately for this rotation, we have the AGL Golden Freezer. Obviously he doesn't have his Easy A on global yet, but he's one of the best defensive units in the game. And then I decided here to keep arms on rotation, also to keep him away from those Jiren attacks, if for no other reason, because we really just want to keep attack lowering him as much as we can. And then of course our boy Super 17 at the end there does have built-in damage mitigation as well. So you can see what I mean when I was talking at the beginning about extreme AGL. I think is definitely the better option for this, because you have a lot of units that have good defense or damage mitigation, and then as you saw from that list that I showed at the very start from the wiki, there's a lot more units that lower attack who are like actual good viable units as well. So we have Darkness Tower here for the support. I kind of wanted to put Cooler in the middle just for that extra little bit of attack, but 13 definitely has better defense, so we can start off with the attack lower from Cooler, which kind of helps us out for the rest of the rotation anyway. So all we need to do is keep applying the attack lowering effects here, and then we kind of need to still be very careful how we line up our defensive units, because yeah, look, we're taking double digits pretty much from normal attacks now. But as I said previously, we've talked about this a lot on Super Battle Road, on like the no item runs and stuff like that. You can attack lower a unit multiple times to the point where it will only deal double digit damage to you with normal attacks, and then they can still bust out like 150k super attack on you. Yeah, see, 111,000 on 13, who is one of the better defensive units on our team. So as you can see, we've hit Jiren with quite a lot of attack lowering already, and he's still able to hit us that hard with a super attack. So we get the fusion with Zamasu. He does heal a little bit at the start of every turn, which is actually very useful. Unfortunately, AGL Golden Freezer, when you're under 50% HP and his passive doesn't activate, he basically doesn't do anything. So I decided to get him floated off. And Arms should be okay, because even though he's a free-to-play unit, he is Rainbow. And of course, he will apply 1 extra attack lower as well. So as you can see, Zamasu's just taking double-digit damage from those normal attacks. Reasonable hit from him as well. And then Arms can come in and lower the attack. I really like his super attack animation. I like that it has, because obviously it's the combination of hit and Rose. I like that sort of like arm motion thing he does at the beginning, which is from hit and then into the Kamehameha. So we survived that turn, and this is one of the other reasons why you want to bring Metal Cooler. Even if you only have them at 55%, no dupes. In an EZA or Battlefield, the ability to transform with one of these kind of units and then get 2, potentially 3 turns where you don't take any damage is obviously really useful, because now he can super attack us all he wants. Oh, well, there you go. And we're not going to take damage. So this is actually one of those turns where if we hadn't transformed with Metal Cooler, we could have been in serious trouble, because he super attacked us in the first slot. Then we get our attack off, and then he's attacking further down the line. So we potentially would have died if we hadn't transformed with Metal Cooler. So he is very, very good to have on the team. I mean, that's why he's in the thumbnail. So we can get a super attack here. Can't get another one, so that's unfortunate. We do have those purple ones lined up, so maybe if we get the 3rd turn, I mean, that would be a huge bonus, because I don't know what the percentage chances are of getting that extra turn, but obviously it does happen from time to time. And we are bringing down Jiren's health. Oh, look at that. There you go. There you go. So we get that extra turn. Now, the only downside to this, if you get it really early on, is the fact that because we are now 3 turns removed from when Cooler originally transformed, all of the attack lowering debuffs that we put onto Jiren will have run out by the time we untransform. Wow, 160,000. So this is a perfect example. So 2 turns in a row now, we've basically been in a situation where we very easily could have died without the transformation from Cooler. Obviously, if we'd had like AGL Golden Freezer with his passive active in that first slot, we would have been fine, because he has like 90% damage mitigation. So him getting his defense massively lowered isn't the biggest issue. And again, Extreme AGL has a lot of units that have built-in damage mitigation, which means even if Jiren nerfs your defense, they still have that percentage reduction, which is going to play a huge role. So Cooler should finish him off. I think it's only appropriate we let Cooler actually finish the job here, because Jiren's got the tiniest sliver of health left. So there you go. He comes in 2 million damage, no crit needed, and we take out Jiren. Now, I think that's a pretty good example of a team that works very effectively. We didn't get the Metal Cooler transformation literally the turn after we dropped under 50%, but because we had some very good defensive units and we'd nerfed his attack so much, we easily survived until he came back around onto rotation. So there you go. That is how to beat Jiren very easily in Battlefield. Just bring your best defensive units and as many attack lowerers as you can. And then there you go. So let me know down below in the comments, what team did you use? If you need any more advice, obviously feel free to ask. The comment section is usually very helpful when it comes to team building advice. Or you can join the Discord as well. We have a whole section in there for that. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch, or like I said, join the Discord. All those links will be in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.